So there's no perfect time to know when we're for sure ready for a relationship, in my opinion. With that in mind, when is it safe to say that we're ready to start pursuing a relationship with the intentions of getting married?
It's always safe to say that you're ready to start a relationship when you're open to saying, I have the capacity to have another person have take and hold space in my life that I'm willing to give to authentically. I have that. So I can show up honestly. I'm not showing up with things about, hey, you got to be this and you got to be that, or else I can't be in this. No. So once again, get yourself together so that when you go into that relationship, when one of those things on your thing isn't ticked off and you know that, instead of trying to make that person come over to where you are, you're just going to know for yourself. I'm ready for this. I have to be honest with you. I think a lot of people get married way too early. They do not have the capacity to hold the space of another person in their lives. They don't, because they're living in a fantasy, man, and they think that this person is supposed to show up in their lives and supposed to be like, ready made and ready to go and never have any challenges because their love is so great for them. What's honestly, you think about Hannah's husband, asked her when she wanted a baby. Hannah's husband said, "Am I not enough?" She was like, "Hell no, you ain't enough." No, right? So we run into these situations, man, where we believe that we're enough, and we got to be careful of that. The relationship isn't built on you and your charisma and different things along those lines. The relationship is going to be built on ability to say, can I hold space for this other person authentically? Do they have access to my life 100% and me to theirs? And am I done looking? Am I done playing the field? Am I done being out there talking about I'm trying to vet all the ones that I need to vet? When you know that, then your focus gets laser and you start looking for people who are more closely aligned with where you want to be. You're going to look in places too where this person is closely aligned with where you want to be. You're going to see some of those values before you ever meet that person, truthfully. And if you do just meet them, then you're going to talk about what those values are, and you're going to know up front whether or not that's a person that's ready for you. But as long as you know you're ready and somebody else tells you they're not, leave them alone. That's just the way I feel about it. Leave them alone. That's how you know. If you got to drag somebody into something you're ready for, that's not a good fit.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I would just say, man, again, this is one of those fields, man, where like we don't care to give we only care to give but little thought to this. And I just think we do ourselves such a disservice because all we see are the TikToks and the Instagram reels and the pictures and everybody loving it and the highlights, but we don't consider the work that's necessary. Like, have you done the emotional work?
Right.
What does it entail to do the emotional work, man? Have you decided to take a look at the potential traumas in your life? Have you potentially decided to look at the things that you value most? Of course. Have you dealt with any past pains? Have you dealt with anything that you might have been overlooking the entire time has actually caused you more harm than help? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you been healed? Are you healed emotionally at all? Spiritually? Like, because that is important. You kind of want to come in. It's not to say that nobody comes in with that anybody comes in with no baggage, because everybody's got something that they're bringing to the table, right? But you don't want to bring so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just want to bring anything and everything. You want to be able to work through what you can, in order to get to a place where you can confidently say that I can also be here for this person, even if they're going through certain things, and dealing with certain things. Like, I can actually be present with them in that seasons where things look a little different and topsy-turvy. I might be in a season where all is well, but she's going through it. I can be there, right? Because I've done the work. And I'm not trying to force somebody, as PD mentioned, to be something that they're not. I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm not trying to put on my Superman suit. I'm not trying to do that. So, I mean, yeah, just doing the emotional work, growing in emotional stability. That's something I've had to work on. I still work on, and know that working on these things is a constant. There's never a point where you're going to be like, I've done all the work and there's no more work to do.
Right.
Even when you enter into that relationship, you're going to pick up and encounter on things that could potentially be a struggle that you're going to have to work through and put some equity in to overcome. I was sitting, man, with a good friend of mine. Like, it's so cliche, but how do you know that they're the one? I would say this: there's no such thing as the one. There's a right one. God never created just one person for you. I think that is so selfish of us to think that somebody's entire existence was created only for us and only to make me happy. No, there's a right person. I got Bible for this. Abraham married Sarai, who's later named Sarah. She dies. Nobody ever remembers the last wife Abraham married before he died, Keturah, who he then bore kids with. Are we going to then suggest that Sarah wasn't the one for Abraham? No. Keturah had qualities that Abraham was like, I can marry that. Just like Sarah, I can marry that. Now, we don't know the whole origins and how all that came together, but we do know based on that little information alone that he saw something in Keturah that was like, man, I could get with that just like he did Sarah. So I'm just telling you that there's no such thing as the one. So then you have to be willing to make a decision. You have the capacity to make a decision to say, I want to commit to this one person and understand them and know them and be willing to go on that journey with this person. Come hell or high water. I just want to do that. I want to study this person. I want to do life with them. You know, you have to be willing to come to that decision. You have to be willing to put equity into that. Get rid of the whole perfect woman, perfect man scenario, because they don't exist. You gonna have to put some equity here in order to see that individual be who you hope for them to be. You gonna have to put some equity in that. You have to put some work in that. You have to build that up. And if you're genuinely just not ready for that, to play a role in seeing somebody become who they can be and who you know y'all can be together, I think you should just be like, man, I don't think I need to get into that, man. Not everybody wants marriage. Marriage is not mandatory, just like singleness is not mandatory. But just know what you're getting yourself into. And I'm not talking about the divorce rates and how crazy that is and all that crazy stuff. I'm just talking about be willing to know that that relationship is going to take work. It's going to take work, and you're going to have to put some equity in that. Your patience is going to be tested. Your loving kindness is going to be tested. All these kinds of things with a relationship that you choose to pursue. So yeah, you have the capacity to make room for that individual in your life. Visions, dreams, goals, all those things. Does that align? Does it make sense? That matching values has to be something that is present, because without it, you will get into situations and y'all will leave faster than you came together, because you won't have any kind of stability to come back to when disagreements and potential tensions take place. And that will always be an issue. So yeah. I mean, just, are you ready to go on that journey of it? And have you done the emotional work? And if you can't say that you're healed emotionally, spiritually, mentally, I would say hold back. I would say hold back and be willing to put that time and effort to grow into that. And just like that, this video has come to the end, but don't worry, your boys got more. Subscribe, like this video, share it with a friend, and definitely check out the channel to learn more about how you can build healthy, happy, whole, and biblical relationships. I'll see you over there. Peace.